Hi, so what are your guys' names?
My name is Willow.
My name's Nivi.
And we all actually went to the same school. So do you guys want to start off with more like casual conversation, like introductions to warm up, and then we can dive into the deeper stuff?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So could you guys tell me a little bit about yourselves, like what you're studying or like what your interests are?
I do psychology and neuroscience at school. I play piano and I enjoy reading.
Awesome.
Yeah, I study genetics and plant bio, and I'm also interested in like data science. And I think outside of that, like hobbies, I like to play the piano, the bass guitar, and to draw.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So you guys are both in college, right?
Yeah.
So how has college been for you guys?
It's been pretty good so far. I feel like I don't really have anything interesting to say, to be honest.
No, you're good.
I live in a different state now, so that's been a little bit weird because like I didn't know anybody when I moved, but you know, it's helped me like grow as a person. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I go to like unlike Willow, I go to school pretty locally, so I think like it's been comforting to kind of be close to home. Like I get to see my family a lot and stuff. But I think college is also, it's been a lot of new experiences. Like I kind of started working in labs and stuff, which has been a lot of fun. And I kind of really realized what my interests were in college. So that's been really exciting.
Yeah, I love that. And what are your guys' thoughts on like deep conversations?
I think like, I feel like personally, I kind of have a bit of a hard time, like, kind of getting more deep with people, but I think once I get close to someone, it's easier for me to have like deep conversations. So
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm not great with like sharing my emotions, so having a deep conversation is not something that's very natural for me, but usually I end up doing it if someone else wants to have a deep conversation. You know,
That makes sense.
I don't usually initiate though. Yeah.
What do you think makes it more comfortable for you guys to like have deeper conversation?
I think just like knowing a person for a while, or just like being friends with someone, or like very close to someone. Like my friends and family, I feel like it's a little easier to talk about more personal things, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think being close to someone, or like someone being in need sometimes, because sometimes strangers, you can just tell that they really need to talk to someone. And I'm always open to talk to somebody if they really need it, but like I wouldn't usually go up to somebody who I don't know and like talk about deep things. Do you know what I mean? But it's just more like, I don't know. Have you ever seen someone who just, you can tell that they're really upset? I've definitely had conversations with people just because they need it, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm happy to do that. But most of the time, like Nivi said, it's more like friends and family. Because you know them better anyway, so it's less awkward to talk about.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Willow kind of like made a really good point. Like I think when someone has like a relatable situation or is like in a vulnerable place, it's kind of easier to like come out to them if you know that's going to be more comforting to help them through it.
Yeah, for sure. Are you guys ready to dive into the first topic, which is death? That's so weird to say. Like there's no smooth transition to it. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. So I feel like a lot of people are like scared of the topic of death. Like, do you think that's one of your guys' fears, or like have you guys like thought about it, or like not really thought about it?
I think like I've thought about it. It's just like not something I usually bring up, because I guess it's just like different people have different experiences with it, and it's like for some people like they wouldn't want to talk about it, where other people it's a little more different. So yeah, I think it's something that a lot of people can kind of like relate to in their lives, but it's just like a harder thing to talk about just because of all the emotions attached to it.
Yeah, for sure. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think I don't tend to think about death often. I don't think it's one of my fears, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
A lot of my family members have died fairly young. So it's just something that's pretty common in my family, which is like, obviously a lot of families have experiences with death, but like, for example, my father's dad and brother died young. So it's just like something that's pretty normal in like my upbringing, you know? But I think it's hard to talk about because it brings up, like Nivi said, really bad emotions sometimes, especially with people that you really knew well, you know?
Yeah, no, completely. It's definitely a really hard topic to like talk about in general.
Yeah.
And I would relate in that I don't think I'm personally scared of like me dying, but I'm more so scared of like the people I love dying or like the people I'm closest to passing away.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the fear of losing someone else, that's probably like one of my biggest fears. Yeah. Do you guys believe in like something after death?
I not really. I'm an atheist, so I don't really believe in an afterlife. It's hard to express, I guess, what I think I believe in because I'm not totally sure. I think, you know, the laws of nature and how like matter can't be created or destroyed. I kind of think that like people after they die become a part of the earth again. Obviously like your body does, but then I somehow in my head I think that souls become a part of the earth again as well. So they're always a part of where we are. I don't have access to them anymore. I don't really know.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't believe in anything like traditional, like heaven or anything like that. So, and I, you know, it makes it harder, I think. I don't want to say harder, but it's interesting because I don't believe that I can like talk to people that I love that have died or anything like that. But it's kind of nice to believe that maybe they're a part of where we are, you know?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, I think similar to Willow, I wasn't really raised religious, so I personally don't really believe in like very typical religious sort of ideas of like death, but at the same time, like I feel like I do hold a little bit of spirituality and like yeah, I think I don't really think like about like where we go after life or death, but I kind of just view it as like something that happens.
Yeah, I would agree with you guys that I also did not grow up religious, so but I am spiritual. I do believe in like just like spirituality and like energy, and I feel like there is more to life than just like the physical world. Like I think like my opinion has changed over the years in that before I would have said like love is purely like something chemical and something like scientific, but now I think there's like love is an abstract concept that goes beyond just like the world we live in. I don't like the physical world we live in. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, I think for me like I've heard of like stories where people like after death, like, you know, like have you guys read about like near-death experiences or like heard about them? Yeah, I think there's an interesting concept of after you die you become part of like the one consciousness, or it's like the higher power is like one of love, and like different people who have experienced NDEs have had similar experiences but different interpretations of that experience. Like they experience like a light, like some form of love that's like otherworldly, or like that they haven't experienced on earth, but it's like if you're of this religion then you interpret it as this particular god, or of another religion you see another god. But for me personally, I don't know what I believe in. I'm fine with the idea of just like nothingness. Like I feel like a lot of people, sorry, I'm like rambling right now. I feel like a lot of people like are scared of death because it just seems really like oh, I don't know how that feels, like you're nothing. Like the idea of lack of consciousness is like scary, right? But I feel like we've been dead for like a bazillion years, you know what I mean? Like before we live, like we've already experienced it, or like we haven't, well, like the lack of our lives has happened for a very long time. What I think is more interesting is life itself. I think that's a new and really brief experience that's like a lot more I don't know, like mysterious or almost like scary. But yeah, do you guys have any other like thoughts or questions about like death? I don't know.
I can't really think of any now, but
I like what you said about like the like how long we haven't existed. I guess that's kind of how I think about death, right? I don't remember what it was like to not be alive. So I think maybe I'm not as worried about dying because, like, on some level, I've already not been alive, and I don't remember that, so I'm sure that it'll be I'm fairly sure that it'll be kind of similar, where I just won't know, you know? Everybody else around me, I think, will know, obviously, that I'm not alive, but, like, duh. But, like, you know, I think that I believe that when you stop existing, you just stop existing. It's the same as not being born yet, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't find that scary in itself.
Exactly.
I think I find, because you brought up, like, life and how that's, like, a precious, like, fleeting thing, and I find the idea of not living well scarier than I find the idea of dying, or like,
for sure.
like the fear of death more being about like regretting things while I'm dying than the actual dying process itself. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
I think it's a very valid fear to like be unsure of whether or not you'll make the most out of this life, and yeah, honestly, I feel like I would kind of prefer just nothingness. I don't know. I feel like, like, I don't know. It's just like this life. Yeah, make the most out of this life, and then that's it. You know?
Yeah. I think also I've seen other people say that like life is more meaningful because we only get to do it once. You know, because this is kind of off topic, but like there's all those fantasy books with like, or what's the really famous vampire movie?
Twilight.
Yes, thank you. where like they live for forever or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't. And I think if you live forever, then everything becomes repetitive, and then nothing is as interesting as it could be now. And so I'm kind of grateful that we only live once. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it makes everything that
Exactly.
we choose more meaningful. So
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think the idea of like living for eternity, that is like eternity is like literally immeasurable, and you literally cannot fathom it. Like I think like 100 years is a lot, right? But it's like 1,000, 1,000,000, 10 million, a billion. Like it's more than you can possibly comprehend, and that would be like torture.
it would be like torture. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any last thoughts? Okay. Cool. Okay, thank you guys so much for talking.
Yeah,
it was good. It was really good talking to you guys.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that was a nice conversation.
I have a question actually.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the two topics that you're talking about?
I think it's worthwhile to explore like deeper, heavier topics that people don't really talk about, because I feel like it does weigh on a lot of people's minds, but there's no conversation about it.
Yeah.
So I think it can be impactful to try to facilitate this conversation and kind of try to normalize deeper conversation. Yeah, and I think by talking to other people about these topics, you can learn a lot about like everyone else and like about yourself.
Cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.